Matt, great video, great video. Um, Elaborating on what both of us were saying a little more, and of course internalizing it in a manner that I'll be able to express it. I speak in such abstract patterns of thought, and you're so concise in your dialogue. Perhaps in the future we can make this pattern of I speak, you interpret, because it seems that you convey that which I'm trying to convey to a much larger audience. So yeah, again, I agree with you on pretty much every aspect you had. Language does create barriers, and through our experiences in life, we achieve certain realizations that entice us to experience new realms of being. And if there's just the realization there, without the experiential data, I guess you could say, without accumulating this experimental data, through experiencing whatever we're speaking of, there's going to be a disconnect in trying to allow others to see what you are speaking of. And in a personal respect, there's going to be a disconnect in actually understanding the template that you have to utilize to get to a certain point and actually experiencing and conveying it once you're at that point, or in that series of events that are going to play out to allow you to reach a certain point or a certain conception that the mind has constructed to usher in these feelings. When you spoke on the energy, when I said once we usher in these planes of ascension and get to this pinnacle of enlightenment, we will then become energy. And that, of course, signified that it would be something outside of us, as if the means aren't already planted within the self. It's very interesting. I believe everything is within us with the higher manifestation. So if we seek this out and we know how to utilize it and we understand the power that is going to accompany journeying within it, then it undoubtedly has to be within us. When I say pure energy, I think this is the separation from a realization of what you're trying to achieve and actually experiencing that concept, or what that concept is trying to describe. So when I say become, I think this is more the realization in experiencing it. It's not so much just trying to elaborate and tell people what it is, or trying to convey your realizations. It's actually experiencing it and taking on this form where you understand everything around you. It's no more perception. So I think we are becoming something greater, something else through this plane of ascension. Not to say that the means aren't already within us. So again, words don't do justice to what I'm trying to describe, as it is an abstract pattern of thought. And I'm trying to concise my thoughts and allow people to understand what I'm saying, because these conceptions, although they're guiding me, I try to disassociate myself from them, because as has been said, they will crumble. The world is constantly changing, so these thoughts are going to crumble, and these patterns and these frameworks are all going to collapse, as they are finite and they are interpretations that build off the past and their growth. They're signs of progress, but they're means to an end. They're not what is waiting on the other side of the river. As you said, we're swimming through the oceans right now of space, and we become just consumed by these rivers of thought, and although we're flowing and we're trying to reach the other side, sometimes the current becomes overpowering, and we're taken outside of what we wanted to achieve, as I think is the human endeavor. We get sidetracked. We're not allowed. I don't think it's a straight path to understanding. If there is one true path, then I'm not even certain of that. I know there's many stages that we can usher in, but to say there's one way to get there, I don't believe that's necessarily true. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. But in order to usher in these stages, I believe, like I elaborated on in the video that you responded to, I don't think that we can leave one behind, because we're all the same manifestation. We're all from the same manifestation. So to leave someone behind, or to leave a state of ignorance without doing something and without it propelling propelling that which is inside of us, the self, to go back and help, I think that's denying ourselves access to this conception or this perceived conception by not going back for essentially ourselves, as we all are one, I believe, all experiencing the same reality in different incarnates, but that will fade away as we are all a byproduct or of the same manifestation, the same incarnate. We will take our spot and become. I say that once again, we have the means within us, and the means are within us to utilize to get to this higher state, this stage of consciousness, these stages of consciousness that will ultimately usher in the plane of ascension, the pinnacle of enlightenment. So of course that is within us, but I think we become something more throughout this journey. And I believe that the journey must be respected, but I believe the templates have been solidified, so we now understand how to get there. It's through experiencing that which we speak on. It's not just sitting in front of a camera. There's a disconnect if we just sit here in front of a camera and articulate our desires and our understandings and realizations without truly experiencing them in the physical context with other people, with ourselves, as we are essentially one another. So I believe that we have to eradicate the disconnects. We have to predicate this in doing it with one another in the human experience, because I don't think that can be duplicated. Although technology, being a byproduct of consciousness, is wonderful and it's beautiful. And as you said in one of your videos when you're speaking on the Genesis, that we want to, no matter how many people are viewing this, we're putting this up for the world to see. We're putting ourselves out there for the world. So whatever we're conveying, whatever we are speaking on, we want it to be absolute, in the sense that we want the truth of ourselves to be projected and be a mirror, reflection of what we hold dearest to us and our understanding of the world around us and that which lies beyond the physical world. And you said beliefs. Beliefs have no experiential meaning. A belief can't be experienced. I believe that there can be, in the sense that there can be a placebo effect within the mind, within the witness, the watcher, who attributes meaning to these conceptions and these beliefs, and they will take certain things that they see out of life and internalize that and think that they are experiencing their conception. And I think that this can be a very destructive framework, because I think we can each create our own reality while we are here. So while we're creating this reality, some of course are going to be destructive, and if we allow the mind, if we identify with the thinker and allow it to construct some false sense of the world, not how the world truly is, and we think we're taking clues from the world around us and actually experiencing these beliefs when there's no meaning outside of the thinker, I think these can be very destructive. But I also think that that is a reality of the physical reality that each of us has the power to create our own reality while we're here. That's kind of frightening. I think that's a very destructive force, and I think that ushering in and having these realizations so we can go out there and experience these things, I think there's absolute eternal truths, that which is, so we can go out there and experience all these things, so there's no more miscommunication or misunderstandings. We understand these realizations are in a context that they can't be duplicated, they can't be given less merit by anyone else, because we understand that these are realizations. But I think that actually experiencing these things which we're conveying and those feelings within us, no matter how we communicate these templates, actually experiencing them will instill the wisdom necessary for ourselves to become that which we seek. So again, that was a wonderful video, and I too would ask other people to come into this dialogue as well, because I only think that it can further us and help benefit one another. So I'll be talking to you soon, man. Take it easy.